The Chapecoense soccer team accident in my country was actually a homicide by the company and the technical crew involved. It is regrettable that this occurred due to such imprudency. Regardless of this, I will report today what really happened. Please, if you're following the channel and enjoying the videos, subscribe and welcome to the channel. On the night of November 28th, 2016, a flight was departing toward the realization of a dream. The Associação Chapecoense de football team left Brazil heading to Colombia to play in the final of the Copa Sudamericana. It was a historic moment, not just for the club, but for an entire city that watched its small team achieve incredible feats. However, fate had different plans. The aircraft, an Avro RJ-85 operated by the Bolivian company Lamia, took off from Santa Cruz de la Sierra, Bolivia, bound for Medellin, Colombia. On board were 77 people, players, coaching staff, journalists, guests, and crew. They all carried in their hearts the hope of witnessing one of the greatest achievements in Brazilian football history. But during the approach to Jose Maria Cordova Airport, tragedy silently began to unfold. The flight initially proceeded seemingly without issues, with no obvious signs of serious problems. However, behind the aircraft controls, a series of poor decisions, operational failures, and technical negligence were beginning to shape the most tragic outcome. The plane took off at the limit of its fuel range, without making any refueling stops, a risky decision far outside international aviation standards. As the aircraft approached Medellin, delays in the arrival of other flights forced air traffic controllers to place the Chapecoense flight in a holding pattern over the area. At that moment, the fuel levels were dangerously low. Inside the cockpit, the pilots were aware of the situation, but delayed declaring an emergency, a fatal mistake that cost them any chance of being given landing priority. Soon after, warning lights on the control panel began flashing. One by one, the engines shut down. The silence in the cockpit contrasted with the growing panic among the passengers. The aircraft entered an uncontrolled descent. Outside, the darkness of the Cerro Gordo Mountains was the last thing many ever saw. At 10:15 p.m. local time, the plane crashed into a hillside, breaking into pieces. The impact was catastrophic. Of the 77 people on board, 71 lost their lives. Only 6 survived. 3 players, 2 crew members, and 1 journalist. Silence overtook the night in the region of La Union. Rescue teams faced immense difficulties reaching the crash site due to the rugged terrain and poor weather conditions. When the first images of the disaster began circulating worldwide, the shock was immediate. The world watched in disbelief as news broke of the crash involving a team that symbolized perseverance, humility, and courage. The small club from Santa Catarina, which had captured the hearts of Brazilians and football fans globally, was now a symbol of mourning. As the investigations progressed, the revelations made the tragedy even more painful. The final report concluded that the accident was caused by fuel exhaustion, directly resulting from poor flight planning and the conscious decision not to make technical stops. The airline, Lamia, operated at the limit, disregarding basic safety protocols with the complicity of authorities who should have enforced regulations. The negligence was so severe that even in the final moments, the pilots avoided declaring an emergency in a desperate attempt to avoid penalties. The pain was not confined to the victims' families. The sports world, journalists, fans, and even those with no connection to football felt the weight of the loss. Clubs from Brazil and around the world mobilized in solidarity. Tributes filled stadiums, public squares, social media, and sporting events. Atlético Nacional, the team that would have faced Chapecoense in the final, officially requested that the Copa Sudamericana title be awarded to Chapecoense, a gesture that moved the entire world. In Chapico, the city plunged into collective mourning. The mass funeral at the Arena Conda, under heavy rain, was a scene that will forever remain in the memory of those who witnessed it. Thousands of people, united in grief, mourned not only the players but also the journalists, crew members, and everyone who boarded that flight full of dreams. In the months that followed, the rebuilding was not just physical but emotional as well. Chapecoense had to rebuild its team, reorganize its structure, and above all, honor the memory of those who were lost. The mission was heavy, but the club's own history showed that overcoming adversity was in its DNA. The tragedy also served as a wake-up call for the aviation world. It exposed failures in oversight processes, operational practices, and the ethics of some companies. The pain of Chapico revealed a harsh reality that, sadly, is not unique to one country or airline. The Chapecoense crash was not just a sports tragedy, but cruel reminder of how negligence can cost lives. It was an open wound that united the world in pain, solidarity, and the hope that such errors never happen again. To this day, when people speak of Chapecoense, they are not just speaking about football. They speak of love, resilience, memory, and respect. The story of those who were lost did not end with the crash in the Colombian mountains. It lives on in every fan, every child wearing green, and every echo that resonates in the stands of Arena Conda and in the hearts of millions around the world. Chapecoense flight ended tragically, but a legacy of courage, unity, and hope continues to fly, far beyond the clouds.